Hello, Sounds True friends, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to be able to bring you a very special edition of Insights at the Edge. This is with someone that you probably know, but you probably know him in a different context as the actor who played Dwight Schrute in The Office. What you may not know about Rainn Wilson is that he is a very deep thinker, someone who really looks at life's biggest questions, and he has a brilliant heart of service. Let me tell you a little bit more about Rainn. He's an actor, comedian, podcaster, producer, writer, and director. In 2008, he co-founded SoulPancake, which is an online media company that makes stuff that matters, and it invites us into conversations about what it means to be human. And Rainn has written an important new book, a book that looks at death, purpose, meaning, the evolution of religion in our time, what it means to live our lives with a devotional heart, and most importantly, what's happening right now in human history in terms of our evolution and what is called of people of conscience. The book is called Soul Boom: Why We Need a Spiritual Revolution. And I'm so pleased to bring forward to Insights at the Edge, Rainn Wilson. Rainn, welcome.
Tami, it's such a pleasure. I love your show, your business model, your videos, the whole insights, the meditation, the whole thing that you bring. I love it. And I know we've been trying to schedule this for a while, and we finally are together. I was sick a couple days ago. It was brutal. Just thrilled to be talking with you. That's the moral of the story. I'm thrilled to be talking with you right now.
Okay, let's hope that at the end of our time together, we're both as thrilled as we are here at the beginning, because I'm also thrilled. All right. At the beginning of your book, Soul Boom, you ask this rhetorical question. Why the hell is the actor who played Dwight in The Office writing a book about spirituality? So let's just start there and bring all of our listeners to this moment in time.
Excellent question, important question, foundational question. There's a number of answers to that. One is, I almost died. So I will quote the great Julia Cameron, who said, I came to spirituality out of necessity, not out of virtue. A necessity for me was a severe mental health crisis, which I've honestly been struggling with my whole life. It really was at its apex in my 20s, in the 90s, when I was living in New York City. I have an anxiety disorder. I was depressed. I was struggling with addiction. And having grown up a member of the Baha'i faith and having walked away from religion, faith, spirituality, God, morality, any of that nonsense, I was so desperately miserable, I started searching for a path, and that was a spiritual path. And since I've been in my 30s and 40s and now my 50s, exploring spirituality, spiritual ideas, different faith traditions, different modalities of seeing our spiritual reality, is something that's really important to me. It's helped keep me sane. It's helped me keep me sober. It's helped keep me focused. It's given my life a tremendous amount of joy and meaning and purpose. So that's the big central answer. There's some others, but that's the main one. That's why Dwight is writing a book on spirituality.
When you say you almost died, I just want to understand a little more, meaning you were sort of hitting bottom in your life from all of the mental health challenges, or you had some type of near-death experience, or what happened? What was going on?
Yeah, along with Anxiety, depression, addiction, loneliness, comes suicidal ideation. And yeah, I was hitting bottom. And I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, but especially at that time, when you contemplate death, new vistas actually open up for you. I'm so grateful for hitting bottom in that way, because it kind of pushed me down this path through the forest of kind of big spiritual ideas.
Now, Rainn, one of the reasons I'm so excited to talk to you and that I'm so thrilled about your book, Soul Boom, is that you have a way of talking about spirituality that's funny and clever and, and sincere all at the same time. And what I noticed is that the part of me that's looking from the outside at anyone who has this sincere devotional heart comes up with this kind of, I don't know, kind of sarcastic, kind of slightly even mean observation, which you address right away in Soul Boom, which is, so another person down and out with mental health challenges who seeks refuge in religion or God, or seeks refuge in spirituality, like it's a kind of weakness, if you will. Do you know what I'm getting at? The cultural, the rational critique that people move into a spiritual path, and something I've been afraid of my whole life. Like, oh yeah, they're just going to say, Tami, she's this sort of weak-minded, big-hearted, devotional, whatever, like love of God is kind of dripping out of her mouth. What's wrong with her? Like, get your mind on, Tami. Think critically. Yeah. And, I'm just curious how you've dealt with that, being both a critical thinker yourself, but here you're saying it was when I was down and out that I turned to faith. And people could say, wow, really, Rainn?
Yeah, that's such a great point and such an amazing conversation. We could spend the rest of our time together just addressing that. But it's hard. I am a naturally cynical person. I'm a naturally pessimistic person. This lives in conflict with my big heart, which I'm also incredibly loving. I think kids that were traumatized are often, and addicts kind of grow up this way. I've certainly been judged a lot in Hollywood for being a comedian and a comedy actor who also talks about God and the soul and has conversations with Oprah. People don't, that is the weirdest of the weird. External society might say that spirituality is weakness, that belief in God or a higher power is for the people who can't take reality, that reality is merely and solely physical and material. There's so much to say on it. I'll just boil it right down that in a way they're right and it's okay. When we deal with death, when we deal with failure, when we deal with longing, loneliness, depression, overwhelm, disappointment, we go to a heart space that can be incredibly isolating and lonely and disconnected. And we seek connection. Humans thrive in connection. If you want to get hard data driven, I quote in the end of my book, the Grant study from Harvard University, one of the most thorough studies ever undertaken on planet Earth, following 300 men for 80 years from Harvard about living a well-balanced life. And the result of the study was really quite simple. Just connect. Just like E.M. Forster said, connect, live in fragments no longer, only connect. So I want to connect from my brokenness, and I also want to connect from my wholeness. Both of these things can be true. Part of connecting is to connect with the radiant cosmic force we'll call God, for lack of a better word, the incredible beauty, power, and love that courses through every molecule. And if I turn to God and turn to God out of weakness, so be it. I also turn to God out of strength, because that's where I find greatest well-being and greatest and deepest connection. And guess what? Connection is what keeps us whole and sane, and it works. And there's study after study. You can read The Awakened Brain by Dr. Lisa Miller about these hard data points having to do with having a strong spiritual life and how much meaning and hope that gives humans.
Okay, I'm going to keep going in this basic area, because one of the most exciting segments, and there were a lot of exciting segments for me in reading Soul Boom, but one of the most exciting segments was when you wrote about why I'm not an atheist. And this was exciting to me because I've had a lot of conversations with people, and I've tried to explain, tried to function almost like a translator to explain my love of a creative force and how it appears inside me. And I often notice I just end up being like, I don't know, I'm serving an evolutionary force of some kind. I don't know if I can explain it, but I'm in service to it. That's what feels the most true to me. And the looks I get from people are like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? What evolutionary force? And what are you serving? And what are you saying, Tami? And then I just come out to something like it feels right or something. And that's the end of the conversation. So I'd like to know how for you, when you're talking to very rational, skeptical people who have like, come on, really? How you are able to talk about your theism.
Yeah. I'm a theist. You're a theist.
Yeah, ho ho.
Fellow theist. I love it. I'm an unabashed theist. And, well, yes, so I honor atheists, and I have a section honoring atheists in the book as well, which, because they don't accept anything as given until it's proven in some way, shape, or form. So they're natural skeptics. And you can be a skeptic and not be pessimistic. You can just say, hey, I'll believe in something and I'll do something if I can see the evidence that it's right and it's the right path to take. I admire that about atheists, because we had centuries, nay, eons of people blindly following the faith of their parents in ways that has led to a great deal of destruction and ignorance. So God bless the atheists. Why do I believe in a God? I tried being an atheist. I really did. And as hard as I could, I just couldn't jibe with the fact that the mystery of my consciousness riding around in this meat suit, it didn't make any sense. My scintillating consciousness that can imagine all kinds of things. I can make drawings. I can create poems. I can sing songs. We humans create operas and build beautiful things and cultivate gardens. And we laugh and we weep and we hold babies in our arms. And we have all of these emotions, and they're flooded with memories from our childhoods when we were babies being held in arms. And I tried being an atheist and just seeing the world as simply atoms and molecules and forces of nature. Forces of energy, buffeting those around. And it just didn't work for me. To quote Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, I just couldn't believe that the universe was just stuff. And as I probed this idea of discovering God, one of the hangups I had to overcome was, of course, this cultural idea of God as male, patriarchal, fatherly, I was joking. I did an event with another actor on The Office last night at the 92nd Street Y, and he was joking that what if we all died and at the end of the day it was hysterical because God really was like a 70-year-old man with a flowing white beard sitting on a cloud, and we done no, this is me. I'm God. Yeah, I'm an old man with a beard. That's who I am. But you have to get around so many inherited ideas of what God is or could be. And when I spent a lot of time studying a lot of Native American traditions. And when I heard about the Lakota Sioux idea of God as the title Wakantanka, which translates as the Great Mystery. And this is a God that is not separate from nature, but knowable through nature, as far as I understand. This is my limited understanding as a white man who didn't grow up in the Lakota tradition, but I want to humbly learn from the Lakota tradition that Wakantanka, the great mystery, is in all things beyond time and space, can be tasted in the wind, in the trees, through the seasons, through the cold, through the heat, through water, through fire, through earth. Then things started to shift for me, like, oh, God doesn't have to even be a being or a persona, as the theologian David Bentley Hart says, a demiurge, which is like a god with certain powers, like up above, like a Marvel character shooting, superhero qualities down at us humans. I love the idea of a great mystery. As an artist, as an actor, as a theater artist, when I started, as a storyteller, I love the idea of the great mystery. And I can believe in a great mystery. I don't even know that I can believe in God per se, but I can believe in a great mystery, and that's enough.